So right here, we have an individual. This is a gentleman. His name is Dream. It says about speedrunning. Now, he's made a massive post about this. I feel like this is something important to talk about. I've been very withheld for a while about it, and I've just decided it'd be best to let it out so I can feel relaxed a little bit more, I guess. This will be a very long read, I'm sure. I'm writing this in my bath at 4 a.m. on the phone, so forgive any mistakes or confusing bits. Okay. Back in October, November of 2020, for the first time since 1.16, I tried to go for a speed run to get some decent time. My goal was to get a time faster than 25 minutes, which was a good time and fairly obtainable at the time without spending months speedrunning. After running for about a week, I got a 19-minute time that arguably could have been lower, ironically due to bad luck. I started running in 1.115 directly after. A few days after, there were some suspicions involving my streamed runs on 1.16. At this point, I was cooperative but upset and confused that I was being questioned. I provided all the information that I could and assumed that everything was fine. As the chatter grew, I was confused and the numbers didn't look to be in my favor. At this point, I reached out to the only Mojang developer that I had contact with and talked for an hour or so about what was going on. I told him the details and was asking if there was potential for a bug or glitch, and he told me that no, there isn't, and said some things about how banning for luck seems far-fetched and they should improve their system. I felt a little reassured, but also angry that I was potentially being dragged for absolutely nothing. This wasn't a huge thing yet, but it lingered in my mind, and I couldn't really think about anything other than it. This is about a Minecraft speedrun, guys. This is a big deal. As time went on many weeks passed, I grew more and more frustrated, convinced that I was being targeted due to the fact that I was a YouTuber and a couple of mods, self-admitted, didn't like me at all and didn't have any kind words to say. I was an asshole and I lashed out publicly, saying the investigation was a farce and expressing how pissed I was that I was being targeted and that it was taking so long as the mods were giving me deadlines and missing them. This was terribly stupid for me to do, and I was scared and stressed and I did shitty things. I regret it and I really wish that I had been able to keep my calm. It's the way it goes. Later that month, the speedrun team released a video and a document detailing why my 1.16 run couldn't have been legitimate based on math and statistics. I admittedly don't know shit about math and statistics. I didn't go to college and I hated math my whole life. At this point, I felt complete fear. I felt like I had been publicly smeared in a way that I had no clue how to respond to. I didn't understand the math, and I didn't understand why I had been left in the dark for so long, only to have a video dropped randomly on the night before MCC. I think that's Minecraft Convention or Minecraft Con. At this point before, I had multiple speedrun moderators message me. Let me actually resize this real quick so you guys can read it. At this point before, I had multiple speedrun moderators messaging me scary things about how it was a shit show and how no one could agree on things before the release. They were clearly biased against me and so on. In retrospect, this may have been out of fear of wanting to be on the good side of a really big YouTuber, or maybe they were just being truthful a little bit too much. A little bit of both. All I know is that it scared me a lot. Feeling like everything you built might come tumbling down and there's nothing you can do about it is really stressful. Again, I lashed out. I tweeted that the mods being clout chasers and I said a lot of really dicky things. I was pissed, I was scared, and I was being an idiot. Shortly after, someone gave me the idea to hire a professional statistician because I know nothing about math. This calmed me down a lot and brought me back to a much healthier mindset. I Googled and I ended up finding 2 professors that I emailed both about my situation asking for assistance. Only one of them was available to help. Oh my god. So this guy hired, yeah, this is what I knew about it. So he basically hired a math professor, or I don't know what hired, he enlisted, I don't know if he paid him or not, but he enlisted a math professor to help prove that his Minecraft run was real. I was looking for help, I told them I didn't cheat, and I just needed a second opinion on the math. Eventually the professor came back with the conclusion that the mods numbers were off by a significant margin. And it's possible, although extremely unlikely. Again, Not completely understanding math, but knowing that my expert's opinions seemed to be that the mods were off, I felt vindicated and relieved. I made a video about it and expressed the professor's views. People hounded me for it, saying that that the astrophysicist was fake, but the mods confirmed it was legit. I just wanted an unbiased party's opinion. The mods came back with a response, correcting the professor and saying that he was off and providing reasons for why. Again, I don't understand complicated math, so I sent it directly to the professor asking for his thoughts. Later on, he came back admitting that there were mistakes in his original assessment. Holy shit. So the mods are fucking, the mods have figured out that they know more about this than the professor? What the fuck? Okay, dude, this game's serious. In his rebuttal, though, he came to the conclusion that it's improbable that I didn't cheat. So it's improbable that he didn't. So, okay, so it's probable that so it means that Dream probably cheated. Yeah. I feel like I did the right thing to post his findings, even though he hadn't asked me to yet. I did. I tweeted them out and replied saying that I agree, and it seems more likely than not that I cheated. I didn't say anything more than that. Funnily enough, he actually emailed me a day or two later saying that I need to post his findings or he will, semi-threatening or not in a mean way. And I responded that I had already done it before I'd even asked. Okay. At this point, I was lost. Jesus. At this point, I was lost. And I was fairly confused about the whole thing, wondering what other options were and exploring the possibilities. As much as I was confident that I didn't cheat, I had never explored the option that I had possibly did. Due to the way that I reacted to the mods, perceived everything going on, and convinced that they were out to get me, I tunnel visioned and was paranoid, and I didn't think straight. I had plenty of valid reasons to believe they weren't impartial, and I had the mod team I had been completely friendly from the beginning, and I believe it never would have gotten to this point that it did. Oh, if he was friendly with the mod team. That makes sense. After considering this, I ended up finding out that I actually had been using a disallowed modification during 6 of my live streams on Twitch. At this time, we were just starting to record videos on 1.16, and we had just hired a developer to help with coding mods for videos because me and George had no experience with mods, only plugins. One of the mods that they were working on was an overall recording mod that I have used in every video since around the speedrun controversy. You may notice it in my videos due to F3 being small or particles being reduced, or recently on my streams, things like background being custom or Dream servers option being plenty of other features and improvements. So we had a mod installed. So like, does the mod give him like a higher chance of having like that certain type of run? Why would the mod do that? In our challenge videos, before 1.16, we always increase the Enderman spawn rates and the Pearl drop rates out of convenience, and we've mentioned that openly before. It makes the videos better because we don't need to spend hours looking for pearls or spend so much time farming blaze rods, a totally RNG thing, mostly pearls. Whenever 1.16 came out, it was more complicated to increase the Pilgin trades than the Enderman Pearl drops. A server-side plugin was made for our videos that slightly increased the rates. Around this time is whenever the first versions of the recording mod are being made. Although it was more of a chat mod at this point. I considered this time that potentially could have been a problem, but brushed it off because 1, the server-side client are completely different, and I was aware that nothing had been done client-side, and 2, as far as I know, just basically chat, and as far 3, I was 99% sure that I didn't even have a recording mod on, which was backed up by the Fabric API logs saying that only the Fabric API was loaded. This was mentioned in my original response video. I ended up thinking that it's basically the only explanation after Professor came back with what he did. I talked with the developer and ended up finding out that when working with the mod stuff, he had added some improvements from our challenge servers to the client-side mod so that they would work in single player for videos like the shock collar videos or other single player mod videos. This was only in an early rendition of the mod and was removed because the developer realized that these types of videos can be done on a PC-hosted server. I see. Okay. All right. This included A couple of other things that weren't mentioned at all during the controversy as far as I'm aware. Ender had a low chance of breaking whenever thrown. Enderman dropped pearls a much higher percentage. When I realized this, I felt an extreme sense of guilt, and I took down my response video, not believing in what I said in the video at all anymore. This was a couple of months ago, at this point I believe. When the drama first started, I cared more about defending myself and being right than about figuring out what was actually going on, and I shot myself in the foot doing it. I feel really terrible for the mods because I dragged them through the mud, even though they were mostly right. I still feel as though the mod team was extremely unprofessional when dealing with it, but they're a group of volunteers just trying to do their job, and in their eyes, I was some cheating sob YouTuber, son of a bitch YouTuber, there you go, who didn't care at all. Maybe in their position, I would have treated me the same. I was an asshole back to them, which didn't help at all either. I mean, that seems pretty, yeah, I mean, that seems pretty much fine. Let me finish, let me just keep going, let me finish. Okay. I reflected a lot about the entire thing, and had a lot of regret about it, just for the first few days of the runs. What if they had asked for my mods sooner? What if I had realized sooner? What if I hadn't had a history with a couple of the mods? Maybe I wouldn't have jumped straight into them being out to get me. Further past that, what if I had controlled my emotions and not blown the entire thing out of proportion? I can't live by what ifs though, so I was just left with what I had. I debated live streaming or making a video about it, but the drama had basically already passed, and I was worried about rekindling the fire that I had already basically gone through a couple of months straight of absolutely being shit on by anyone that didn't think of me favorably, and the mods had gone through weeks of torture, I'm sure, too. I figured it's out of the way, and this should be a story that I would tell in a few years whenever nobody cares. I told a couple of people, and I just felt like the community had been through enough drama, and it was pointless. I didn't want to be a center of controversy for the 100th time. It was shitty and unfortunate situation where I felt like I couldn't defend myself anymore in good faith without feeling bad. But I also didn't have any intention of cheating. So he didn't mean to cheat. This was an accident. Since the speedrun controversy, there's been some animosity between me and the mods, and I feel like the relationship only got worse. They just declined my donations from the controversy video, got into a drama a few times with me and my community on Twitter, don't want to go into specifics, and a month ago, added me to a chat questioning me about my previous 1.15 runs from about a year ago. They saw a suspicious black box that they thought meant a splice, but it turned out to be a YouTube setting on their end that they realized. This was resolved fairly maturely, and I believe I hadn't talked to them since. Yesterday around MCC, the mods made the decision to remove my old runs due to speculations and the fact that my 1.16 run was invalid, which is something that is done with most people who submit invalid runs at all. I'm sure there's been reasonable suspicions about most runs, especially offline ones from back whenever they were allowed. Okay. You can't give someone the benefit of the doubt on lag or frame skips or potential cuts, anything, unless they've earned it. And in this case, I haven't at all. So I don't want to see any hate towards the mods or any drama involving the fact that they were marked invalid to my 1.16 run. I think it's dumb that it's been 11 months later, but it's understandable. If anything, I deserve it, and it puts an end to any potential drama. Jesus. I'm not really sure what I'm expecting out of all this. I just felt like I had a huge weight on my shoulder, and I wanted to get it off. I think the whole situation was extremely shitty overall for everyone involved, and I wish that I could go back and do things differently because of some of the worst weeks of my life, and it still impacts me every day. I'm sorry to anyone who I let down or disappointed. I always strive to be the best person I can be, and the whole debacle wasn't the best of that. But I can't be, I can't be or anywhere near it. I hope this brings some closure to the people that needed it. And I really want to move forward with positive vibes like I've been trying my best to promote to do. I'm trying to think, like, does this really matter a lot? I mean, like, the guy, like, everybody pretty much knew he cheated. And then now he's admitting that he cheated. He says he didn't know that it was happening. Like, I don't know if that's really the case or not. It's hard to say. I mean, of course, obviously, it could be that he's lying about that too. Maybe not. I have no idea. I think at the end of the day, the guy clearly admitted that he was at fault. He said that he cheated. He came out with it. He made this big post. And realistically, he didn't have to, because this shit blew over a while ago. Like, this was from quite a while ago. He's trying to fix his rep? Well, that's not a bad thing. I mean, the thing is, like, if he's coming out and he's apologizing for the thing that he did wrong, like, I feel like to some degree, people just want to see, like, what do you want to see him say besides this? I feel like this was pretty fair. Like, he admitted that he did something wrong. He said he acted like an asshole, and he apologized for it. What else needs to happen? But he's not apologizing. He's making it bullshit for, oh, I didn't intend to cheat. Who cares? Like, it doesn't really matter, does it? I mean, the thing is, like, if he had intended to cheat or not, like, at the end of the day, he's admitting that he cheated. He's admitting the run was fake. And that's all that matters to me. It does matter? Yeah, I could see why people would say that it matters. Sure. And, yeah, here's the way I see it, man. Is it's just not that big of a deal. And I think the guy making this post does kind of do a little bit more to kind of, at least especially for the mods that were probably being harassed by, like, his viewers and stuff like that, it does kind of put a lot of that to rest. So it's definitely good that he made the post. Should he have paid attention to the mod thing? Yeah. Was he maybe lying about actually not knowing that it was real, and maybe he did know it's real? Yeah, maybe that's the case. But I'm not a mind reader. I don't ever try to read people's minds. I don't know this guy well enough to have any idea. So I think overall, it's a good decision that he did this.